What's going on, guys? Needs more drums back in City Skylines 2 in our city that still needs a name. Haven't been in this game in a long time, but we got a couple things that we've got to get done today, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so as you can see, the city is coming along not too badly, actually. For only the third episode, we got quite a lot built. Population's still a little low, but we still have a ways to go. I haven't played this game in a long time. You know, I feel like I recorded a couple videos when it came out, and then I actually just got done moving. I moved to downtown Chicago, so it's been a really busy couple of weeks, and then I was out of town for a few days for work. Down in Nashville, it was super fun, but you know, I love music, so great place to play. Even got to play drums on stage for a couple songs at one of the places down there, so that was fun. But we're back in City of Skylines 2. Our city has yet to have a name, so again, if you guys have any name suggestions, please leave them down in the comments. I'd be happy to take anything into consideration at this point. Just, you know, kind of going with the flow, seeing how things turn out. But yeah, we got a couple of things that I want to get done today. So the first thing is, I know we're a little down on cash. We're kind of getting there. You know, we're kind of getting there. So I would like to expand out the city a little bit more, particularly some of the suburbs. Just try to bring in some more households, bring in some more income. And then the second thing that I want to do is expand out the city a little bit. We have quite a few tiles, so I want to bring out our area, and then hopefully we can put this highway over like above ground. You know, obviously I don't think that an underground highway going under like this, a tunnel of this distance, is not really practical. And I'd like to kind of bring the highway up, and then we can you know, kind of start to build around it and actually connect to it so that people have another entry to get into the city. As of right now, this is the only way into every part of the city. It's just through like this three-way roundabout right here. So yeah, you can see there's no roads connecting to anything else. So that would give us another entrance into the city, and then we could start kind of building out some of these areas. And particularly, I kind of want to expand out this part in this episode as well. I feel like this is going to be a little bit of a higher density area. You know, nothing insanely crazy. I don't really want this to be downtown, but I do want this to be pretty densely populated. And you know, we can have like a train station down here as well, since we got the train line coming through here. So this would be kind of a good time to get some of that built. So yeah, let's just get started with, I don't know, one of the things, I guess. Yeah, let's see what we can do. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is actually purchase some land, because I want to expand out the city a little bit. We also need to, if we want to bring the highway, we got to bring it over here. We have quite a few permits. I do need to use all of these, unfortunately, but you know, it's fine. I think I might just buy these for now, and we'll kind of limit ourselves to this area so we don't spend too much money. So there we go. Have our city expanded. And yeah, so what I want to do is try to work on this highway, and I unlocked highways, didn't I? Yes, I did. So yeah, so we have, you know, our 2-lane highways, and then you know, 3-lane, 4-lane. These are 2-way highways, I mean. Then we also have our 1-way highways that we're gonna use for this. But the problem is, you know, man, this is such a big tunnel. I gotta get underground. So let's actually just pause the game for right now, because I don't want these people to go, you know, all crazy with, you know, trying to find their paths if we delete the roads. Okay, so we got that done. So now what I want to do is, I kind of want to follow this rail line with the road, and I'm almost tempted to do something crazy and like put it, you know, run it parallel to the railroad track. But I think I'm going to save that for one of our more dense areas. In this case, I think I might just kind of bring it in and around, you know, like this, and we can have a highway kind of going through the what will be like a denser part of the city. So let's just try and see how this works. And actually, I forgot that we could do our parallel road tool. So that's really cool. Now we have our parallel road tool active. Let's go ahead and build out this highway. Man, I'm kind of bummed. I kind of wanted to try to build a bridge here, but I don't think I'm gonna do it. It's a little bit too small for a suspension bridge, and I think we might just go elevated and see if we can, do something in the future. But yeah, right now it just doesn't make too much sense to build a bridge that big over this body of water that is not super super crazy. So no big deal. But yeah, let's go ahead and just extend this. I do want to keep it elevated through here, just because, this will be like kind of a downtown, like I said, kind of a downtown area. It might help to keep the highway elevated through this part. All right, and I think that turned out relatively okay, except for this little weird height difference right here. Yeah, until we have something like move it, it might be a little bit difficult to kind of, even these things out, but that's okay. I'll take that, honestly. Yeah, we just won't look at that too much, but that's fine. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that, and is not coming along too bad, to be honest. So I think what I'm gonna do is have a couple of exits here for the highway. So I want to almost like put something kind of over here, and then obviously there'll probably be a road that goes around this way here, around the coast. So maybe we could put something like that there, and then we'll also have something probably off of this road here once we expand this out. So yeah, let's try to build this one for now, just because I do want to get some kind of connection here while we have the space. And like I said, this will probably turn into some other kind of road in the future, maybe even a bit of a main road. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking of what I want to do about main roads. The only reason that I'm not putting a connection here is because I don't think I'll have the space to build an off ramp there. It might be too close to this train track. Although I could do something a little bit different. Yeah, you know what? Rather than making some kind of weird intersection there, let's go ahead and do this. Let's actually convert this to a main road. And I love if you can do that in this game, so you can kind of choose the offset for the road, so I wouldn't have to demolish any existing zoning there if it were to have been there. But yeah, and then I'm going to drag this just through here. Now we can try to have a couple of options. We can do, obviously here we can have some on-ramps, but then this is where I'm a little bit skeptical about what we're going to be able to do. And I don't really want to put off-ramps, right on this train track either, like right before this train track, because that's going to create a lot of congestion. What I think I might do is actually let the train track cross here, and we might even have to elevate this train line or sink this highway at some point if this becomes, a really, really congested area. But what I think I'm going to do is bring the road kind of around, like, and I know that's a bit of a steep grade, but I think that's still pretty doable. And then we'll just have, have this come around like so. And I've yet to build highways in this game, and man, that looks so much better than City Skylines 1. I mean, look at the quality of that intersection. Man, that's looking really, really good. Would you look at that? That's a fantastic looking transition there. That really looks better than I thought. Yeah, I didn't know that they look that good in this game, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple of slip lanes here, just because, you know, that's very realistic. And I mean, I'm just loving that. Look, it's got the merge arrow and everything. That's so cool. That is so cool, and it looks so much better than the old game. That's awesome. All right. So now that we have that, this is going to be a bit of a challenge here too, because I kind of wanted to do. I want to do like some kind of roundabout, but I didn't really want to make this like some kind of massive 6-way intersection. But it seems like that is how it's going to be. And you know what? We actually do have the space. Why not make a very large roundabout and make this actually somewhat efficient? Because that's, you know, what I kind of want to do in the city is actually make it somewhat efficient. So let's. This is going to stay as not a main road. Actually, maybe it will be. Cool. And now we can have off ramps come off of this highway like so. Or maybe we can't. Oh no, I think we can do it. Somehow. If it'll let us. I think we can do it. Okay. A little more promising. I know it may not look the greatest, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I'm actually quite impressed with that. That looks better than I thought it would. And I know this intersection isn't the most practical, but you know, I assume that these roads won't have too much of a heavy traffic flow for now. And if we do, then maybe we'll need to change that up in the future. But for now, yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out. A cool little different kind of exit there. So cool. Now that we got that out of the way, I'm actually gonna go ahead and press play. And oh wait, actually I'm not. Got to connect up these roads here. Might as well do that. Right, there we go. That's good, and everything's facing the right way. So yeah, we should be good to go. So now let's press play and actually watch this in action. But while that's, you know, people are actually starting to take this exit, let's go ahead and expand out these suburbs a little bit more and just kind of fill out this area here, because I do have a lot of empty land and I kind of want to work on this part of the city before we actually expand over here. Mainly because, you know, I do want to flush out some of this low density residential demand, and also maybe even jump over here and you know, add to some of the industry, since we have quite a bit of a demand for that as well. So yep, let's go ahead and build this out and see what happens. And as you can see, one thing that I'm doing that I'm trying to be conscious of is not worry about zoning every single plot of land. You know, I want to be able to zone, you know, have the lots actually look good. So some of these areas, like for example, right here, there's actually a pretty significant change in the terrain. So rather than just zoning this all the way, the zone actually goes to about here, but rather than zoning this all the way out to here, what I've done is just kind of limited the zoning, you know, to create a little bit more of a steady slope between these rows of houses. I think it helps make the area look a lot better, in my opinion, and a little bit more realistic as well. So I'm gonna try to keep doing that. And we actually have no demand for medium density residential, and we don't really, all that we have is high density. And I really don't want to zone high density just yet. So instead, what I might do is actually zone out a bit of commercial and try to alleviate some of that demand. And especially since we have a kind of a main road here, it might actually help to zone out some of that commercial. And You know what I can do is maybe try to figure out an area where we can zone out some of this low rent housing, because I've never actually tried to mess with that yet, and I kind of think that there might be some areas around here where it would make sense, like particularly on this side of this main road here. You know, we can have some commercial, and then probably some additional residential kind of, you know, back behind it. So you know what, let's actually do some of that right now, just to give it a shot and kind of see how it looks, because I've actually never built it yet in this game, and I'm really curious. Let's give it a try. And one thing that I want to do is actually, I know this is a highway, but I want to zone on this area. So I think I'm actually going to get rid of the highway, and instead, in an effort to kind of make something a little bit cool and different, let's just change it to a one-way road. Oh wait, oh, I didn't want that. That looks horrendous. Oh my gosh, I don't want that. Nope, no way. Yeah, at least making it a one-way road, you know, now we can actually be able to zone on it, and it'll look just a little bit better. And we can maybe put a couple trees in the middle or some bushes kind of along this avenue, and we'll extend this out as needed. But that way we can actually zone on this. And you know what I might do too is, we have this cool intersection right here. I want to make this a roundabout. Yeah, I like that. And then we can bring this road off the roundabout and have it do kind of something a little bit interesting. And we don't have a lot of interesting shapes in this city yet, and I kind of want to create some more. So this will give us a chance to do something a little bit different. And you know what, that almost got me thinking, I might make this another main road, and then we'll have this kind of connect down over here, so we can have some kind of cool, like a cool diagonal grid going on, as opposed to just something, you know, really basic and symmetrical. So yeah, let's have that go down straight like this, and then this road we can almost have wrap around a little bit more. We can do something a little bit interesting here. Sometimes I think it's a little bit more not beneficial, but I think it's interesting, you know, to kind of have your roads like deliberately try to make cool shapes, because just I know like grids are common, right? And you know, every city's has some sort of grid somewhere, but you know, having something like this, now we have a cool shape that we could work with, maybe provide, you know, this can be something different. Obviously we'll maybe have some commercial, but you know, then we can have some really cool looking, it'll just break up the monotony of the city, I guess is what I'm trying to say, right? So I'm actually going to save this for now and maybe come back to this in a bit. I don't want to quite build this up just yet. Maybe I'll make this into like a park or something. But what I do want to do is build some of this commercial, primarily along, you know, this road here. And this is like what I'm kind of talking about here. See, so now I see that I have this road here, and this train track here. What I can do is make very nice parallel road that'll run parallel to this train track. And now I kind of have this, you know, service road, so to speak, that kind of runs along this track. You know, maybe at some point we'll have it deviate from that, and you know, have build some houses kind of, you know, up against the train track, something like that. You know, maybe some of that lower rent housing that we're talking about dealing with. And I know that this is the only problem with this, though, is that we won't be able to actually build. See, yeah, okay, so we do need a little bit more space. So let me rebuild that. Sorry, guys. See, there we go. Now we have something that we can work with, right? So that's pretty cool. We do have these ruins here. Do I want to keep the ruins like in the middle of the city? These castle ruins? They don't really fit, I don't think, with the theme that we're going for. So I'm actually going to go ahead and get rid of those. But yeah, you know what? I know I've been talking a lot this episode, just a lot of ideas going through my mind. So let's just crack down and really just start building and just spend some time, jump into a time lapse, see what we can get done. All right, everybody, welcome to the time lapse. So over here, I thought I'd jump over across the pond here to this other side of the city, start laying out some roads. I don't really know what I'm gonna do here yet. I just kind of, with one thing, this big open space by that roundabout, I kind of wanted to leave that a little bit open, maybe put some kind of park there. But the main reason that I did this is because we have a demand for some high density, some low rent housing. So I thought, I could put some of that over here, since it is a little bit closer to the industry and will not warrant a high rent, and hopefully that'll fulfill some of that demand. But it is weird because it actually doesn't end up really sticking. That demand kind of goes away pretty quick and never really comes back. So I don't know. Like I said, I still think there are some quirks in the game with the demand and everything. It seems to be kind of strange, how certain things have demand and certain things don't. For example, like I realized there's a lot of I'll go through some, there'll be like a stretch where there's a lot of medium density demand, so I'll zone it, and then all of a sudden, it'll, I don't know. It just seems a little weird. Like, as the city grows, you would expect that the demand for the higher density zones becomes a little bit more steady, but it seems like it kind of comes more in like short bursts. And then once you kind of fulfill that demand, it just like doesn't really return very strongly at all. I mean, even when you provide like some more jobs, but I don't know. It seems a little bit strange compared to games in the past, but kind of feel like I'm limited to my expansion. But anyway, over here, I thought we would zone out some more industry, kind of clean up this area a little bit. And I'm really not, this was like one of the first spots that I built when I started this city. So I'm really not too happy with how this is all working right now, especially the way this power plant sits. I think maybe in the future, what I might do is think about decommissioning this power plant and maybe doing something else with this area. But for now, we're just trying to fulfill some of this industry demand. So this is kind of the place to do it. But yeah, I think when we make a little bit more money and reach some of those milestones where we can invest in some more power, some different power sources, maybe we'll, change this area up a little bit and maybe get rid of that coal power plant. But yep, just putting down some trees. I've been doing this a lot in this episode, just kind of focusing on, filling the space in some of these open areas with some trees. I think it helps, make everything more realistic. It, theoretically decreases air pollution. I hope it does in the game too, but so we definitely need it by that power plant. But yeah, anyway, jumping back over here, filling out some of these zones. I just accidentally zoned like high density in these places, and I don't know why I did that. It was totally an accident. So I go back and I realized that at some point soon, and I go back and rezone to the low density. But yeah, so yep, there we go. See, I'm like, what the heck? What am I doing? So it happens. I feel like the amount of times that I've zoned or built the asymmetrical road, I don't know why, but in the menu, just that it's the icon with the yellow line. And being from the States, the yellow line to me is like a 2-lane road. It's just the yellow line through the middle. So it's like seeing that and then the other icon not having that, I just always end up zoning the asymmetrical one by mistake when I mean to zone just a regular road. But yeah, this area, we'll come back to this area in a later episode and, fill in some of those spaces with maybe some medium density zoning, because the low density here, the demand isn't always very stable, and the desirability, they have this new desirability metric in the game. So, and real quick, this is one thing that bugs me about the zoning in this game. You don't know which way the orientation is. So like, I wanted to zone on this road here with the trees, but instead it made me zone like the other way, and it's really annoying. But yeah, definitely a step backwards in the zoning tool that they had in City Skylines 1. Hopefully they'll add that back in City Skylines 2, where you can choose orientation of the zoning on the roads. But this is a spot that needed a little bit of love. This waterfront, it has this water pump here and these parks, and I wanted to just make this kind of like a little bit of a nice park area. I always like to build trails along my waterfront areas, especially in some of these lower density areas, where the housing isn't right up against the coast. And so they didn't really play too nicely with the roundabouts, but I did figure out something that I kind of like. I actually end up liking the way that this area looked with these pads, and then we'll go ahead and add some trees and some houses on these cul-de-sacs. I mean, I think this is kind of a somewhat realistic way to build an area like this. I know that in Chicago, where I live now, and when I was younger, back in college, My girlfriend lived up in a neighborhood up in Chicago because she went to college here, and she lived at some of the student housing were these old apartment buildings literally right on the shore of Lake Michigan. So you basically had beachfront housing as your student housing. It was pretty awesome. But this is kind of how these roads looked. They would just be kind of go to a dead end with a little cul-de-sac, and then the houses would go right up against that cul-de-sac, and then you would walk out and be on the beach. So it's kind of taking inspiration from some of those waterfront areas, and I take a lot of inspiration from my waterfront areas from Chicago because now I'm driving up there all the time. But I think there are cool spots in Chicago where they really develop the waterfront. But yeah, getting distracted here by this fire. So I was building that area over there, and now I've come back over here to and then I noticed some things like these houses needed to be rezoned, to some medium density, since the low density doesn't really have much of a demand here in this area anymore. But after that, jump back over here, moved this police station because it was kind of creating a weird, it just didn't really fit well with the grid orientation that I was going for. And yeah, I just wanted a little bit of a do-over on that. I wanted to kind of develop this area like I did the other waterfront just a second ago, with these cul-de-sacs and these pathways, and kind of cleaning it up a little bit. Still, all this is kind of like tentative in a way. As I, kind of learn some of the game mechanics, I'm sure I'll go back and change some of these spots. But for now, I'm just trying to kind of fill the space and keep the city moving forward, and kind of filling out some of these areas to make it look like they're actually developed. Make the city look a little bit more cohesive and complete. But yeah, anyway, going back to what I said earlier about Chicago. Yeah, you'll definitely stay tuned for some more kind of Chicago-inspired developments, especially along the water. I mean, there's things like Lakeshore Drive and stuff like that I kind of intend to incorporate in this city, and those are things that I find pretty fascinating. So, yep, stay tuned for more of those. They are definitely coming. But yeah, just kind of filling out this area with some row housing and some trees, and a little bit of low density there, as you can see. And it is a little bit hilly, so kind of working with the terrain to make it look good is always important. And now back over to this spot. I don't actually end up liking the way any of this looks over here. So you'll see in the next episode or so, we'll do some major work in this area of the city, kind of redoing some of this, and it just does not. I just don't like it. I mean, it kind of was thrown together really quickly because we needed medium density housing, and that was kind of just where it ended up being. But yeah, none of this is really permanent over here like what you're seeing now. So again, stay tuned for kind of how we update this, because it looks a little bit better once we do that. But yep, more industry. There seems to be a constant demand for industry in this city, and I'm really running out of space to put it, and I'm trying to kind of keep it in this area, but I don't want to have just one massive industrial park. I feel like to a point that's realistic, but as the city expands, I want to have different kind of pockets of industry across different parts of the city. So, we'll work on that in the coming episodes, kind of developing some different industrial areas and thinking about where those are going to sit. But yeah, and now, here, just kind of jumping back, we need some low density housing, and I figure this is going to be a nice spot to expand it, kind of closer to this highway. And then my plans are to kind of build a downtown, or at least a very small version of a downtown, kind of on the other side of this highway in the near future. So I'm trying to keep that area open for now, and don't really want to do any development there until I figure out kind of what the road layout's going to look like, and everything like that. So yep, just trying to kind of keep up with demand, and it is hard in this game. I feel like I'm constantly jumping around between different areas based on the demand. And I'm not able to really spend some time focusing on one spot. But, in an effort to fulfill some of this low density demand, I decided to work on this hillside here. This is a trick that I saw from City Planner Plays, just kind of leveling out the area directly adjacent to the road, and then, zoning in that area. It kind of helps create this more natural look to the area, and, the houses sit on these nice even plots of land. So I like that a lot. But anyway, we're just about wrapping up here. So we'll drive out this road as a little guideline, and then jump back into the live play to close out the episode. All right, guys, we've been building for quite a while. We just unlocked this new signature building. Residents will enjoy the atmosphere of this smooth, luxurious building, Polaris Suites. Let me zone on this industry real quick. I don't really know where I would put that at the moment. I'm curious kind of how big it is though, because I haven't gotten that unique building yet. Let me check it out. Ah, pretty sizable actually. You know, this I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna save this probably for once we get like this little downtown area developed here. I think that might be a cool little like waterfront feature signature building. You know what I mean? And speaking of which, I think I'm gonna call it for an episode for today. The season is changing. It's it is now autumn, which is really cool. I love like so far. I mean, I'm loving. Oh, cool! We got a new award too. Look at that. Nice. All right, that's awesome. Check out the progression panel and see what we have real quick before we get done. Communication. Okay, we have communications now. So this is all new. Interesting. Yeah, I'm actually not super familiar with these. I know this is kind of a new thing to the game, and people will like want those as like a city service. But yeah, we got quite a few progression points to spend. I'm thinking we opt for something like, I don't think we need a hospital just yet either. Maybe the water treatment plant, kind of better power plant. I'm thinking about eventually discontinuing the coal plant because that might be a little bit, I don't know if we're gonna need that in the future. Let's invest in some power because we are probably gonna want to clean that up in the future. Let's also invest in a recycling center. What about sports parks? Let's just do one of the sports parks. There's a very ominous sound. Not quite sure what that was, and it's making me very nervous. Hopefully it's not a natural disaster. But with that being said, let's go ahead and call it here for an episode. I think we've done a lot. As you can see, just a little recap. We've developed out some of the low density around here that I've done, that I've been wanting to do. And, I'm actually kind of happy with how that turned out, using a little trick that I saw from City Planner Plays, kind of leveling out your terrain when you're building along a hillside and then just kind of, backing it up to the hill like that. I think those look fantastic. And then these waterfront areas are turning out quite nice. I really like this little park here that we got going on. Sometimes you need a little bit of open space and you don't want to build everything right up to the water's edge. You want some pathways, want some parkways. It helps everything look a little bit nicer. I'm gonna leave that for now. And yeah, we did a lot of industrial expansion as well, so did plenty of things in this episode. Stay tuned for the next one. We're gonna expand out this downtown area a little bit. I think kind of just higher density. Maybe bring the city out, this way and this way. I'm really looking forward to making this look like a proper city. It's really starting to take shape, and I'm liking it a lot. It's really fun to play vanilla and just play the freaking game for once. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace out. See you later.